Hey everybody, tonight we're going to have some pretty weird facts. We're going to be starting with some surface level weird history, and then it's just going to get stranger and stranger as the video goes on. If you've ever read one of the Uncle John's bathroom readers, this is essentially something similar. It's a collection of strange facts, but in video format. So if you enjoyed that, hopefully you enjoy this. Before you get comfortable, if you're using this to go to sleep, make sure you like, subscribe, and let me know where in the world you're viewing from, especially if you enjoy this type of content. Let's get into it. In 1518, a dancing plague struck Strasbourg. Hundreds of people danced uncontrollably for days. Some reportedly danced themselves to death. President Jimmy Carter filed a UFO sighting report in 1973. Cleopatra lived closer in time to the invention of the iPhone than to the building of the Great Pyramid in Giza. In 1835, the New York Sun published a hoax claiming life had been discovered on the moon, including that the moon contained moonbats. The shortest war in history was between Britain and Zanzibar on August 27, 1896. It lasted a whole 38 minutes. The Eiffel Tower can grow over 6 inches taller on hot days due to metal expansion. The Roman Emperor Elagabalus once invited dinner guests over and gave them either food or a live animal in gift boxes, at random. Tsutomu Yamaguchi survived both the Hiroshima and Nagasaki atomic bombings. In 1952, London's Great Smog was so bad it stopped city buses and blinded people mid-walk. The US government once tried to weaponize bats with bombs in World War II. It did not go well. Octopuses have 3 hearts and blue blood. A group of flamingos is called a flamboyance. Frogs can freeze solid and thaw back to life. Sea otters hold hands while sleeping so they don't float away from each other. Crows have best friends and get stressed when they're separated. Axolotls can regrow limbs and even parts of their brain. Male seahorses get pregnant and give birth. There's a species of jellyfish that can revert back to its juvenile state, making it biologically immortal. The fingerprints of koalas are so close to humans that they can taint crime scenes. Goats have rectangular pupils, giving them panoramic vision. Bananas are radioactive due to their potassium content. You technically shed your entire outer layer of skin every 28 days. There's a species of mushroom in Oregon that is the largest living organism on Earth. It covers 2,000 acres. The average human body carries more bacterial cells than human cells. 1 teaspoon of a neutron star weighs about 6 billion tons. The word robot comes from a Czech word meaning forced labor. Light from the sun takes about 8 minutes and 20 seconds to reach Earth. Sound travels over 4 times faster in water than in air. Your stomach gets a new lining every 3 to 4 days, so it doesn't digest itself. Honey never spoils. Archaeologists have found 3,000-year-old honey in Egyptian tombs, and it's still edible. Mr. Rogers was colorblind. He couldn't see red or green very well. The voice of Yoda, Frank Oz, also voices Miss Piggy. Charlie Chaplin, the film actor, once entered a Charlie Chaplin look-alike contest and lost. The actor who played Uncle Phil on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air voiced Shredder on the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon. The theme song to Friends was written in just 1 hour. In Japan, Godzilla is an official citizen. Film director Alfred Hitchcock didn't have a belly button. It was sewn shut after a surgery. The first product to have a barcode was Wrigley's Gum. In 1997, Taco Bell had joked that it bought the Liberty Bell and renamed it the Taco Liberty Bell. This was an April Fool's joke that people got offended by. The original name of Pac-Man was Puck-Man, but they changed it to prevent vandalism on their machines. Ketchup was once sold as a medicine in the 1830s. Peanuts aren't nuts, they're legumes. Spam, the meat, is short for spiced ham. Apples float in water because they're 25% air. The popsicle was invented by an 11-year-old boy, by accident. The world's most stolen food is cheese. The 57 on the Heinz 57 bottles doesn't really mean anything, it was a random number the founder liked. Cotton candy, or candy floss, was invented by a dentist. The hole in donuts was originally designed to help them cook more evenly. McDonald's once made bubblegum flavored broccoli to get kids to eat veggies. It did not go very well. The inventor of Vaseline ate a spoonful of it every day. The hashtag symbol is actually called an octothorpe. Before erasers, people used bread to erase pencil markings. In South Korea, it's common to have booking clubs, where waiters drag you to tables to meet strangers. You can't hum while holding your nose closed. If you just tried to hum, you look stupid. A day on Venus is longer than its year. In Switzerland, it's illegal to own just one guinea pig because they get lonely. A bolt of lightning contains enough energy to toast 100,000 slices of bread. Pigeons can tell the difference between Picasso and Monet. Some cats are allergic to humans. Your brain uses about 20% of your body's energy, even though it's only 2% of your weight. You can't tickle yourself because your brain anticipates the sensation. The brain can store the equivalent of 2.5 petabytes. That's around 3 million hours of TV shows. Every time you remember something, your brain rewrites that memory slightly. People are more creative in the shower because dopamine levels rise during routine tasks. Your brain is more active at night than during the day. Deja vu happens when your brain skips a beat and mistakes short-term memories for long-term memories. Human brains are sometimes more similar to dolphin brains than chimpanzees. Memories aren't stored in just one place, they're scattered across the brain. Reading out loud helps with memory retention more than silent reading. In Victorian England, people took mourning photos of the recently deceased posed as if they were alive. The Winchester Mystery House has a staircase that leads to nowhere and doors that open into walls. Some moths drink the tears of sleeping birds. The Dolotoff Pass incident involved 9 hikers found dead under bizarre, still unexplained conditions. There's a lake in Tanzania that turns animals into stone, Lake Natron, due to its high alkalinity. In 1971, a man hijacked a plane, parachuted out with $2,000, and was never found. We know him today as D.B. Cooper. The Bloody Mary game likely stems from a real 16th century queen. Some people have a condition called exploding head syndrome. It sounds worse than it is, involving loud noises in the head while falling asleep. Human decomposition starts within minutes of death at the cellular level. Shadow people are a common visual hallucination during sleep paralysis. A Swedish couple tried to name their child BRFXXCCXMMPCCCLMMNCKSSQLBB11116. Pronounced Albin. The Swedish government said no. The inventor of the Super Soaker was a NASA engineer. A man once tried to rob a bank using a lemon as invisible ink on his face. He thought it would make him invisible to the cameras. Cow moos have regional accents. The national animal of Scotland is the unicorn. Google was originally called Backrub. In 2006, a Coca-Cola employee tried to sell company secrets to Pepsi. Pepsi turned him in. The dot on the I is called a tittle, but the tail on the Q is called a Q. There's a sport in Finland called wife carrying. The prize? The wife's weight in beer. Some turtles can breathe through their butts. The smell of freshly cut grass is actually a plant's distress call. The moon smells like spent gunpowder, according to Apollo astronauts. Earth is the only planet not named after a god. Butterflies can taste with their feet. A baby puffin is called a puffling. There's a cloud in space that smells like rum and contains enough alcohol to fill 400 trillion pints. Wombats dig burrows with their backsides to protect against predators. Sharks are older than trees. A single human body decomposing in a house can release over 400 different chemicals, enough to sometimes confuse for a meth lab. In 2007, a woman in Tokyo lived in a man's closet for a year without him knowing. He discovered her when his milk kept vanishing. Ghost marriages still tend to happen in parts of China, where dead people are symbolically married to each other to satisfy family spirits. The WOW signal, a 72-second burst of radio from deep space recorded in 1977, has never been explained. The Dybbuk box, said to be haunted, was sold on eBay with a warning. Multiple owners reported hallucinations, nightmares, and illness. Even Post Malone claimed to have been cursed by it. In ancient Rome, people feared being buried alive so much, they'd sometimes bury their dead with a string tied to a bell above the ground. Forensic scientists discovered that dead bodies can still move. As muscles and ligaments contract, limbs may twitch and shift for months. Cotard's delusion is a real condition where people believe they are dead, rotting, or no longer exist. There's a condition called autobrewery syndrome, where the body can turn carbs into alcohol. Patients get drunk without drinking. After decapitation, the brain can remain conscious for about 15 seconds. Some reports even claim eyes blink and mouths move. There have been recorded cases of people undergoing surgery while fully conscious, but unable to move or scream due to anesthesia awareness. Human teeth are as strong as shark teeth, only our jaws aren't as terrifying. Doctors have removed entire plants growing inside of people, including a fir tree discovered growing in a man's lungs. Your body replaces every cell about every 7 to 10 years, meaning you are physically not the same person you were a decade ago. Some corpses, called corpse candles, can spontaneously ignite due to the buildup of gases and fats. This may be the basis of spontaneous human combustion legends. Your stomach growls louder when nervous due to increased digestive activity. Ancient people believed it meant a spirit was trying to speak. The average human sheds around 30,000 skin cells every minute. Most of the dust in your house is made of you. The Bell Witch haunting in Tennessee from 1817 to 1821 reportedly tormented an entire family with voices, beatings, and prophecies, and President Andrew Jackson supposedly investigated himself. The Japanese urban legend of the Kuchisake Onna, or the slit-mouthed woman, describes a woman in a surgical mask who asks if you think she's pretty, then slices your face to match hers if you answer wrong. In some parts of Appalachia, witch balls made of hair, twigs, and herbs were placed under floorboards to trap evil spirits. Some European cathedrals have hidden hellmouths, terrifying carved gateways symbolizing entrances to hell, complete with demons and tormented souls. The word abracadabra was originally used as a magical healing spell in ancient Rome, worn on amulets to ward off disease. In Iceland, there's a large portion of the population that still believe in elves, or huldufólk, and people have diverted roads to avoid disrupting their supposed dwellings. Some versions of the Ouija board were once marketed as wedding gifts or date night games. Spirit communication was seen as wholesome bonding at the time. During the Salem witch trials, one of the accused witches was pressed to death with stones. His last words were "more weight." In voodoo belief, zombies aren't horror fiction. They're created by sorcerers using herbs and poison to create a state of living dead. In parts of Indonesia, families keep their mummified dead in their homes for years, dressing them, feeding them, and talking to them. In 2016, archaeologists in Sicily found a vampire burial, a child with a stone wedged in its mouth to prevent it from rising from the dead. Sky burials in Tibet involve laying bodies on mountaintops for vultures to consume, a symbolic return to nature. Victorians were obsessed with death. They often took mourning hair jewelry made from strands of dead loved ones' hair woven into necklaces and brooches. The screaming skull of Betsicombe Manor in England reportedly emits moans when removed from the house. In ancient Rome, there were professional mourners who were paid to cry dramatically at funerals. A coffin saved Abraham Lincoln's body from multiple grave robbing attempts. At one point, his corpse was hidden under a pile of wood and reburied in secret. In New Orleans, the above-ground crypts were not just used for flooding issues, but because they double as natural cremation ovens in the summer heat. Some bodies decompose so slowly, they become adipociere, a waxy soap-like substance that preserves them eerily well. The Whistlers, or Los Sibones, are a Latin American ghost tale, spirits that announce their presence by whistling. The closer the sound seems, the farther they are, and vice versa. We've only explored about 5% of the ocean, meaning we know more about Mars than we do about our own sea floor. There may be a mirror version of you in a parallel universe. Quantum theory suggests endless versions of reality, somewhere you're rich, famous, or already a ghost. In 2020, scientists have detected a signal from space that repeated every 16.35 days, and they still don't know why. Time passes slightly faster at the top of a skyscraper than at the bottom due to gravitational time dilation. If a black hole approached Earth, you wouldn't see it till it started stretching light around it, and by then you're already doomed. The Earth might be inside a giant cosmic void, a region with fewer galaxies and less matter than average. We could be in the universe's quiet corner. If the sun was replaced with a black hole of equal mass, the Earth's orbit wouldn't change. We would just freeze in darkness instantly. Some scientists believe that reality might be a simulation. Your entire life could be running on someone else's hard drive. People have woken up from comas speaking fluent foreign languages they never studied. The Mandela effect is when a large group remembers something incorrectly, like believing Nelson Mandela died in prison. It's often used to argue for alternative timelines. People who suffer from phantom phone vibration syndrome, feeling their phone vibrate when it hasn't, is reoccurring across the world. You can experience false memories so vividly that you swear they're real, even for things that never happened. A rare condition called synesthesia makes people taste words or see sounds as color. Some people can't picture things in their head at all. It's called aphantasia. They literally have no mind's eye. During intense deja vu, parts of your brain linked to memory and danger detection light up, almost like it's warning you of something. A sleep disorder called REM behavior disorder makes people act out their dreams, sometimes violently. The brain can survive for up to 10 minutes without oxygen, but awareness is usually gone after about 30 seconds. The Hope Diamond is said to curse anybody who possesses it. Owners have died in bizarre accidents, madness, and ruin. In 2004, a haunted painting titled "The Hands Resist Him" was sold on eBay. Viewers claim to feel dizzy, nauseous, or sense something watching them through the screen. King Tut's tomb curse supposedly killed several archaeologists, mysteriously. Some from odd infections, others from unexplainable circumstances. The Chair of Death in Thirsk, England, has allegedly caused fatal accidents to anybody who sits in it. It's now suspended high on a wall to prevent further deaths. A stolen piece of lava rock from Hawaii is rumored to curse tourists who take it. Hundreds of people have mailed their rocks back. The Dybbuk box is said to contain a malicious Jewish spirit and has been blamed for hauntings, illnesses, and even death. It inspired the movie The Possession. Robert the Doll, housed in Key West, Florida, is said to blink, move, and curse visitors who disrespect him. Letters of apology cover his display. The Bassano vase, made in Italy, allegedly killed every person who ever owned it. Now it's hidden in a secret location. A mirror in the Myrtles plantation is believed to have trapped the spirits of a murdered family. Visitors report seeing faces appear in the glass. In the 19th century, some families installed coffin torpedoes, spring-loaded shotguns inside caskets to deter grave robbers. Premature burial was so feared in the 1800s that people installed safety coffins with bells, flags, or breathing tubes. In Madagascar, families practice the turning of the bones, where they dig up their relatives, dressing them, and dancing with their corpses. A mass grave in Venice contained a woman buried with a brick jammed in her mouth, believed to be a vampire who spread plague. In 2008, a woman in Argentina married the man who murdered her own twin sister. Body farms exist around the world where human corpses are studied in open air for forensic research. Vultures, bugs, and time are the professors. The Murder Castle, built by H.H. Holmes in Chicago, had trapdoors, secret torture rooms, and gas lines running to guest rooms. In ancient times, people thought redheads would become vampires because they were seen as untamable and unnatural. The Bunny Man of Virginia is a legend of a man in a bunny suit who haunts a bridge linked to an escaped convict and unsolved killings. Cropsey was a Staten Island legend of a killer in the woods. It turned out to be a real man named Andre Rand, who was convicted of child abduction. There's a stretch of road in New Jersey called Shades of Death Road. No one agrees how it got its name: murder, plague, or native curses. The Goatman of Maryland is part man and part goat. He is also blamed for disappearances, car wrecks, and mutilated animals. The black-eyed children phenomenon involves kids with jet black eyes asking to come inside of homes and cars, often followed by illness or bad luck. The Limp Mansion in St. Louis is one of America's most haunted houses. 4 members of the Limp family died by suicide there. In Kentucky, Hell's Gate Bridge supposedly shows a vision of hell if you drive over it with your headlights off. The phantom social worker panic of 1990s involved people posing as government workers trying to steal children. None of them were ever caught. In Iceland, stories persist of trolls that turn to stone in sunlight. Several natural formations claim to be their remains. In Japan, there is a forest so notorious for suicides that police put up signs urging people to reconsider and to never go off a path. Logan Paul should not return there. The Axeman of New Orleans, who appeared from 1918 to 1919, told residents to play jazz music or be killed. The murders stopped and then he vanished. Ed Gein, the inspiration for Psycho in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, made furniture from human skin. In 1945, the Sodder children vanished from a house fire. No bodies were found, and decades later, the family received a photo claiming to be one of them. In 1987, a man hijacked a TV broadcast in Chicago wearing a Max Headroom mask and said bizarre things. Nobody knows who it was. A woman in Florida found a hidden room behind her kitchen pantry with evidence that somebody had been living there. There are actually cold cases involving phone calls from the dead with voices that are recognized by family members. In the 1980s, a New Orleans man pretended to be a vampire, killed and drank his girlfriend's blood. In 1971, John List murdered his family, left classical music playing, and left for 18 years. He was caught after America's Most Wanted aired his story. In Russia, a woman known as the Doll Maker dug up corpses of girls, dressed them up, and kept them as companions. Serial killer Herb Baumeister's house is now a hotspot for paranormal investigators. Dozens of men's remains were found in the woods. People with Capgras syndrome believe their loved ones have been replaced by an identical imposter. The third man factor is when people near death feel a comforting presence guide them, reported by explorers, climbers, and trauma survivors. There are people who remember every day of their life in perfect detail. It's called highly superior autobiographical memory. The psychological condition known as bonethropy makes people believe they are cows or oxen. Some literally graze on grass. The hum is a mysterious low-frequency sound heard in isolated places around the world. It drives some people to madness, but no source has ever been confirmed. If you stare into the mirror in dim enough light, your brain can cause your face to morph into a monstrous, unfamiliar form. It's called the strange face illusion. The Gansfield effect happens when your senses are blocked in total monotony. Your brain begins hallucinating to compensate. There's a rare disorder where people believe they're already dead. It's called Cotard's delusion or walking corpse syndrome. The last sense to go before death is usually hearing. People in comas may still hear what you say in their final moments. The Tower of London is said to be haunted by Anne Boleyn, who's often seen carrying her own head. A woman in Gettysburg claims she was pulled into the past when she entered an old barn. She saw Civil War soldiers performing surgery. In 1953, a man fell through a time slip in Times Square and was hit by a car. He had 19th century clothing on and 70-year-old coins. The Brown Lady of Raynham Hall had been photographed and reported floating down the stairs, glowing eyes with no feet. The Queen Mary ocean liner is considered one of the most haunted places in the U.S., with reports of ghostly children playing in the drain pool. Some claim ghosts can show up on infrared photographs. even when they're not seen by the naked eye. In the filming of The Exorcist, 9 people associated with the movie died before it was complete. At Leap Castle in Ireland, visitors report feeling a crushing, choking presence in the Bloody Chapel, which was once used for ritual sacrifice. The Visca Axe Murder House in Iowa offers overnight stays. Many visitors leave in the middle of the night due to intense activity. In the Philippines, a creature called the White Lady appears in the rearview mirror and is said to cause fatal accidents. Pope Formosus was put on trial after he died. They dug him up, dressed him in papal robes, and found him guilty. His body was thrown in a river. In the 19th century, it was legal in the US to mail children through the postal system. One baby was mailed to grandma for 53 cents. In 1518, a law in England made it a criminal offense to impersonate a ghost. A Scottish clan in the 16th century, the Sawney Bean family, reportedly murdered and ate over 1,000 people before being executed. Some mummies in ancient Egypt were ground into powder and used as medicine or paint pigment in Europe. In the 18th century France, a man trained a pig to kill himself in front of a court to prove that animals could be guilty for murder. The pig was hanged. Viking warriors were sometimes buried with slave sacrifices, weapons, and boats so they could raid in the afterlife. In ancient Rome, people believed ghosts could be driven away with loud sounds, garlic, or donkey urine. Benjamin Franklin's old London home had a secret basement where 15 skeletons were found, and no one knows why. Bat Squatch was sighted near Mount St. Helens after the eruption in 1980, a creature with bat wings, fur, and glowing red eyes. In West Virginia, the Flatwoods Monster was seen descending from a UFO, green mist, glowing eyes, and a long coat. The Popelick Monster of Kentucky is said to be part goat, part man, and lures people onto train trestles where they're hit by trains. The Loveland Frogman of Ohio is a 4-foot-tall frog-like creature reported to carry a magic wand that sparks. The Ahul is a giant bat-like creature said to live in the jungles of Java and is often mistaken for a small pterodactyl. In 1977, people in Dover, Massachusetts saw a creature with a melon-shaped head and glowing orange eyes. They nicknamed it the Dover Demon. The Enfield Horror of Illinois has 3 legs, red eyes, and made squealing noises. Police and townfolk reported it. The Lizard Man of Scrape Ore Swamp in South Carolina is reported to attack cars and livestock in the 1980s. Quantum entanglement means 2 particles can instantly affect each other's state even if they're light years apart. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance. Water bears can survive boiling, freezing, radiation, and the vacuum of space. Some mushrooms communicate using electrical impulses or a fungal internet called the mycellular network. A man in England disappeared in front of witnesses in 1763 after walking into a blue light during a storm. He was never seen again. Number stations are mysterious shortwave radio broadcasts that repeat a string of numbers, tones, or beeps. Some believe they're spy codes. In 2000, an online post by John Teeter claimed he was a time traveler from 2036. He gave details about war computers and black holes. An Italian woman called her own phone while being attacked. Her voice answered and said, "I'm not home right now." In the 1990s, a woman received voicemails from her deceased husband that included details that nobody else could have known. A man in California set up motion cameras in his cabin and found pictures of himself asleep, taken by an unseen person or an entity. In Japan, there's a ghost poem called Tamino's Hell. Reading it out loud is believed to bring misfortune or even death. In 1567, a man famous for his 4.5-foot-long beard tripped on it and broke his neck, dying instantly. A Tennessee tailor named David Bucknell wanted to make a statement about fossil fuels. He self-immolated in a parking lot using gasoline. Betty and Barney Hill reported being abducted in 1961. Their story included medical procedures, star charts, and a missing 2-hour time window. The Appalachian region is full of tales about witch trees, twisted dead trees where witches were hung or buried upside down under. In eastern Kentucky, the Pink Lady of Pikeville is a ghost seen weeping in the cemetery wearing a pink dress and holding a broken rose. Old-timers in Kentucky say if you hear 3 knocks at your door, nobody's there, death is nearby. Haints in Appalachian lore are restless spirits that target the guilty and cannot cross a blue door, hence the use of haint blue paint on porches. There's a cursed road called Narrows Road near Erlanger, Kentucky, and it's said to cause drivers to hallucinate shadow people in time slips. The Wampus Cat is a half-woman, half-panther said to stalk the forest of Appalachia. The woman was cursed by tribal elders. Some locals believe the Mammoth Cave system is a spiritual gateway and that its endless dark tunnels hold more than just rock. They think it holds a gateway to the afterlife. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have for right now. If you enjoyed it, make sure you like, favorite, subscribe, whatever you need to do. But hopefully you come back for another video. Let me know what you want me to do in the comments down below. Other than that, thank you all. I love you all. Bye.